What happened when a talk show host pushed Melania Trump too far? The answer shocked the world. The camera moved across a buzzing live audience in Los Angeles, capturing the electric energy of a high-profile primetime talk show. The set was brightly lit, radiating the unmistakable vibe of a much-anticipated broadcast. Viewers at home expected the usual mix of humor and sharp political banter. At the center of it all sat Alex Brooks, a well-known liberal host with a reputation for grilling his guests. Flashing his signature polished grin under the studio lights, he exuded confidence. Tonight's episode was meant to follow the usual formula, but that quickly changed. And now, Alex began, his tone laced with a mischievous edge, we have a very special guest, someone you'd never expect to see sitting in this chair. A murmur spread through the audience, curiosity rippling across the room. Then, as if perfectly timed for maximum impact, Melania Trump appeared from backstage. Draped in a sleek ivory suit, she walked with elegance and quiet strength. The audience gasped, stunned by the unexpected guest. Some clapped hesitantly, while others exchanged puzzled glances. Even Alex, despite his usual composure, seemed momentarily thrown off, though he quickly masked it with his well-practiced smirk. Melania approached the host's chair, her confidence unwavering. "Thank you for having me," she said, her accent soft but deliberate. The audience remained torn between intrigue and skepticism, setting the stage for what would become an unforgettable evening. No one, not even Alex, could have predicted what was about to unfold. And then the real fireworks began. At first, the conversation followed a predictable rhythm. Alex, leaning back in his chair with one leg crossed over the other, offered Melania a polite smile. "So, Melania, it's been quite a journey since your time in the White House. What's life like for you now?" Meeting his gaze without hesitation, she replied, "Life is peaceful. I focus on my family, my projects, and helping children through my initiatives." Her voice was steady, unwavering. Alex nodded, though his eyes gleamed with a hint of mischief. Everyone in the audience knew he wasn't here to make this easy. Yet, despite his reputation for tough interviews, Melania's calm presence seemed to disarm him, at least for a moment. As she spoke about her post-White House work, advocating for mental health awareness and supporting underprivileged children, the audience listened intently. "Interesting," Alex said after a pause. "But let's be honest, many people criticized you for staying silent on controversial issues during your time as First Lady. How do you respond to that?" The room tensed. Anticipation hung thick in the air. Melania, however, remained composed. Her hands rested gently on her lap as she answered, "I believe actions speak louder than words. It is easy to talk, harder to create real change. I focus on what I can do, not on what others expect me to say." A shift in the atmosphere was almost tangible. Alex leaned forward, his expression sharpening. He was ready to push harder. And that's when the conversation took an unexpected turn. Alex's smirk widened as he tapped his pen against the armrest. "Actions over words, huh? But don't you think that, sometimes, words are necessary, especially when the stakes are so high?" His tone carried an edge, testing the waters before diving deeper. Melania tilted her head slightly, her face unreadable. "People have different roles. My role was to support my husband and my country, in my own way." Alex raised an eyebrow. "And supporting him meant staying silent, even when his words or actions created division?" A ripple of gasps spread through the audience. The question wasn't just bold, it was incendiary. The energy in the room shifted as all eyes locked onto Melania. But she didn't flinch. Instead, she let the silence stretch for just a moment, her gaze unwavering. "Division has always existed," she finally said, her voice even, controlled. "Blaming one person for it is easy, but it doesn't solve the problem. I choose to focus on unity, not blame." The audience murmured. Alex, momentarily taken aback, quickly regrouped. "Fair point," he admitted. "But let's talk about the rumors, the controversies. People want to hear from you directly. For example, your marriage." A collective gasp filled the air. The conversation had officially turned deeply personal. Melania's expression remained unchanged, though something flickered in her eyes, a spark that suggested she had expected this. But no one was prepared for what happened next. Alex leaned in, lowering his voice just enough to make the moment feel intimate and charged. Let's address the elephant in the room, Melania. Many have questioned your choices, your silence during some of the most chaotic moments in history, even your relationship with the former president. Are you here to set the record straight? The audience was on the edge of their seats, whispering, waiting. Alex's smirk grew. He could feel it. This was the moment he had been waiting for. He had cornered his guest. But Melania? She didn't take the bait. Instead, she straightened her posture, her expression unreadable but commanding. I am here to speak for myself, she said firmly, her accent carrying a subtle sharpness. Not for rumors. Not for stories created by those who do not know me. Alex opened his mouth to interrupt. But Melania wasn't done. Opinions are not facts, she continued, her voice gaining momentum. I know who I am. I know what I stand for. The rest? Just noise. Silence fell over the room. Even Alex, known for his quick wit, seemed momentarily at a loss for words. His smirk faltered, replaced by something resembling genuine surprise. Melania's gaze swept across the audience. It is easy to judge someone from the outside, she added. Much harder to look within yourself and ask why you feel the need to judge. The room exploded into applause, some even rising to their feet. Alex, still recovering, tried to regain control. Well, he stammered, that's quite a perspective. But surely you understand why people. Melania cut him off with a small, polite smile. I understand more than you think. The applause swelled. But Alex wasn't done yet. His next move raised the stakes even higher. Leaning forward, his voice sharpened. Melania, do you ever regret marrying Donald Trump? A stunned hush filled the room. The audience, the crew, everyone froze. Melania didn't answer immediately. She sat there, still unreadable. The silence stretched, making even Alex shift uncomfortably. Then she spoke. Regret is for those who do not take responsibility for their choices, she said, her voice piercing. I know who I married. I know the life I chose. And I stand by it, not because it is easy, but because it is mine. The room erupted. Cheers. Applause. Stunned admiration. Alex blinked, his composure slipping for the first time. He opened his mouth to respond, but Melania had the last word. We live in a world where it is easy to criticize from the sidelines, she continued. But unless you have lived someone's life, you do not understand it. And I do not owe anyone an explanation for my choices. The standing ovation that followed was deafening. By the next morning, the interview had gone viral. News anchors, social media, political pundits, everyone had something to say. But Melania? She didn't need to say anything more. Because sometimes silence makes the loudest impact. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thought.